All right, well first, let's measure Dave's gar here. Slimy. His teeth are no joke. All right, 36 inches is a citation. 37 and a quarter, Dave. That is a citation gar. Good work, my friend. All right, so we're gonna start with the hardest first. These are an ancient species, and you cannot cut through. They don't even have skin, it's armor. You cannot cut through this stuff with a knife. I have a couple tools here. I have my electric fillet knife, which we'll use in a minute. I have tin snips for this, and I have my regular fillet knife. With the gar to start off, this, and I just want to show you guys something. I just sharpened this knife. It's as sharp as can be, and there's no way this is gonna cut through any of that or stab through. You can see, this is just hard plating. I forget the name of these scales. There's a certain name for it, certain kind of diamond. Dave, do you know? You know about fish. All right, but anyway, you can't just cut right in, so you have to have something to punch a hole. Now, I normally have a actual hole punch. I can't find it, so I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use this gig that I just bought to punch a hole right here behind the head to start off. All right, so we have our hole punched. A little bit deeper. And I can tell you this, guys, I've cleaned many fish in my day. This is the hardest fish to fillet I've ever filleted. You need tin snips to get through. So what we're gonna start is just go straight down the back with the tin snips. I've heard rumors that ancient warriors actually used to harvest this stuff and use it as body armor. Somebody fact check me on that. There we go. Almost there. Get all the way to the tail here. All right, and now get some separation. And then from here, it's actually not so bad. I'm gonna go around the head. On both sides. The underbelly is actually much softer. Still freaking hard to get through. Okay, and now from here, I'm gonna start to fillet this guy out. Now, I'm gonna find the rib cage here and just cut along that. so I have this pretty much done on this side. See how it's going right along the rib cage like you would a normal fish. And I'm separating the meat from the bone. Then I'm gonna go back in with my tin snips and just cut right along where that white part is. I'm already sweating. I don't even need to ask Dave if he's sweating because Dave wakes up sweating. Oh, this thing is full of roe. Okay. So we did get some bone here. Damn. I don't mean to do that. Still learning the art of filleting this fish, which is not easy. I've never seen an egg sac this big though, or a liver this big. Oh my God. Look at the size of the liver and these eggs. I'm gonna put these on ice. I actually like fish roe. This is interesting. It's like multicolored roe. It's like some multicolored roe. Oh, actually, don't eat this. Gar roe is poisonous. I forgot about that. So yeah, don't eat this or I think you'll die. Yeah, let's put that in the trash. So don't eat the gar roe. I'm pretty sure I heard that. I'm pretty sure this is poisonous. So don't listen to me there. Okay, let's go ahead and get through this. So what I should have done is cut inward just a bit here. And that's okay, because I can correct this problem with the tin snips pretty easily, it looks like. Yeah. Here we are. There we go. That's what, it's been a while since I cleaned one of these. That's the better method, is to. And what you end up with here is more of like a loin. Okay. Pretty neat. Then I'm going to take my fillet knife. I should get a grip here with these. Take my fillet knife here. Just guide it right along that armoring. And I feel like I'm wasting a lot here, but there's this funny kind of red meat that's close to their skin. And I'm a little sketched out about eating that, so. But there we go. And then we're gonna chunk that, and you have a nice, I mean, that's a lot of meat. That's enough for a couple fish tacos right there, my friends. All right, so, man, there's the skin. And not the prettiest work. I don't have a ton of experience filleting this species. Normally we let them go, but we wanted to do the catch and cook video with the gar, so there's the gar loin. Of course, I would do the other side, but let's move on to another fish now. All right, so the next species we're gonna do here is the catfish. I'm going in order of what I believe is the most difficult to fillet down to what's the easiest to fillet. Now, when I say most difficult, I have my bubble blade electric knife here, and this is like a life hack right here. Now the catfish are a little bit more challenging because look how they lay flat. Very similar to the gar. So what I'll do is see this pec fin here. And by the way, guys, I mentioned this before when we were catching these. You do not want to get gouged by one of either this dorsal fin or the pec fin. I've cut myself and had these prongs go into, these spikes go into my, or I guess they're called spines, into my hand before, and it hurts worse than like a wasp sting. So just be very careful. All right, so what I'm gonna do is actually break this pec fin a little bit backward so that I got something to work with here. So I'm just gonna get the damn slimy son of a freaking gun. Like that. See that? That's gonna make life a lot easier for you. So that's a little trick that I feel like is really helpful. I'm just gonna get that as much on the side as I can. Now, with the catfish, their stomachs are disgusting. We're gonna check the stomach contents here because they just eat so much. But I'm gonna go right here behind his gill plate. Once I feel ribs, I'm gonna stop. And the ribs and this spine stuff, it comes up pretty high. The rib cage goes all the way through. Most of the meat's gonna be here in the body. So I'm gonna cut in a little bit and start to work my way down. And I've heard all types of crazy stuff about how to get the skin off, but honestly, with this bubble blade, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get level with the table. It's very important when you're filleting anything. If you're up above the table, it's gonna be tough. So I get level with the table, almost downward, and then I'm gonna pull the fish. I'm not really even moving the knife. I'm just pulling the fish's skin. And look at that. Whoa, almost lost our fish. Look at that, perfectly clean fillet. I'm not the biggest fan of catfish. And then what I'll do with these, let me just do the other side here while we're at it. These aren't nearly as hard as the gar. Again, I got that pec fin. I wanna usually hear that pop, but it's okay if you don't. Let me get inside, behind the gill plate, work my way down. Through the rib cage. Get as much of that tail meat as you can. All this stuff up in here is really no good, so it's not even really worth messing with. And again, get level with the table when you're skinning. Pull the fish, pull the fish. Keep that skin nice and taut, and bam. So there's our catfish fillets. To debone these, pretty same process as the rest of the fish. All right, all up in here, these are all bones. Just gonna cut in a little bit. And now we have a completely boneless, skinless catfish fillet ready for the grease. Let's do this one real quick, and then we are done with that fish. Blam. That's how you fillet a catfish. Next species. All right, so the next species here is a largemouth bass. Definitely way easier to clean than the gar and the catfish. Find the pec. Notice how this species lays flat. Way easier to fillet this type. So I like to get a good grip here underneath the gills so that the fish isn't sliding around everywhere. With my thumb, again, go behind the pec fin. I'm gonna cut in a little bit because there's some good meat here behind the head that I want to make sure I capture. And then with this, it's key to, because they have such big heads, to angle down a little bit, or otherwise it's kind of tough to get level. Then I get my knife level, again, get level with the table. Now, little hack right here. Switch your grip from the thumb grip to finger grip where you made your first incision. And then I'm gonna stay level with the dorsal fin and the pec fin the whole time. If I get some bones in there, it's okay. And I'm going to run this along the length of the fish, trying to yield as much meat as possible down to the tail. I leave a little bit of a tail. I did this with the catfish too, I didn't mention this. I leave a little bit of the tail skin there so that I can easily flip. And then from here, again, level with the table. Now with this species, the skin isn't quite as stretchy. So with this, I'm actually gonna use the knife more instead of pulling the fish. But notice how I'm level with the table. What you guys maybe can't see is my blade is angled downward a little bit. If I'm like this, I'm gonna cut into the meat. I'd rather get a little bit of skin in there than a little bit of meat, but that's perfectly clean fillet. Go ahead and do the other side, same thing. Gill grip, get behind the gill plate, cut in a little bit, angle down, look at that downward angle. Then I find the dorsal fin, I'm trying to stay as level with it as I possibly can, and the pec fin, letting the knife do the work. You gotta get an electric fillet knife, guys. Clean a lot of fish, totally worth it. Leave a little bit of skin there at the end, flip her on over. Angling down. Keeping it level. There you go. Check out the stomach contents here of this. Got a big old crayfish in there. Look at that. So I like to check the stomach contents, lets me know what to be using for bait. And then to trim these fillets to make them boneless. Some people don't mind fish bones, but me, I don't like it. So see how this is all bones in here. So I'll just run my knife right inside there and just cut all that out. And then typically what I'll do is cut this top part off here for chunks and leave the bottom part. I'll do that at some other point. Again, find that rib cage, cut it out. Try to keep as much of the fillet and meat intact as possible. All right, so there's some nice largemouth bass fillets. Last one, snakehead. All right, last one here, northern snakehead. Now he's definitely not the prettiest, right? But let me tell you something, this is the easiest to fillet, and it's also the best tasting, and you're gonna see how much meat we get out of this thing too. All right, so now what I'm doing is I normally will hit them over top of the head with a bat to dispatch them. I have a person doing a skull mount for me. We're saving the skull, so I did this with a machete. So what I'm gonna do is, normally I would cut in a little bit more, but again, I go behind the pec fin, find the dorsal, find the anal fin, stay level with the table, and you're just gonna see how much freaking meat comes off this bad boy. And then the snakehead skin is very interesting. I kind of have to do a combination of pulling the fish and pushing the knife. It's not as stretchy as a catfish, but it's not as stiff as a bass. And guys, I mean, for real, look at that. Like, out of all the fish that we caught, you can't tell me that that's not the prettiest fillet. Ugliest fish, prettiest fillet. Do the other side here again. Down. This is my good side. I won't get any bones on this side. Look how I'm staying level with the fins. Pushing and pulling, blade angled, damn, piece of skin got in my way. Blade angled downward. Messed that one up a little bit, but still maximum yield. Look at those two beautiful fillets right there. And then to trim the snakehead fillet. This is my bad side. See how I have some rib meat in there, so I'm gonna find here. That's gonna be the top part for my chunks. Cut off the main big part of the rib cage. That's done. I'm gonna make a slight incision right here. Keep my blade level to get all those bones out. Bang, that is no bones in there whatsoever. That is 100% pure protein. This is my good side. Everyone's better at filleting one side than the other. And for this, I just do the same thing I did for the bass. Just scallop that little part out right there, and we're good to go. So, as you can see, maximum yield is coming from the snakehead, and also the easiest to fillet, and the most delicious too. All right, so that's how you fillet some, what did we do? 4 different species today. We did gar, catfish, largemouth bass, northern snakehead. Now it's time to cook these bad boys up.